Hi, I'm Psiman and welcome to this video where I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts on using the Sennheiser GSP500 gaming headset for the last couple of weeks. But as a quick disclaimer before we get started, I'd just like to say that no one is paying me to make this review. This hasn't been sent to me as a review sample from Sennheiser. I purchased this with my own money, but I will hopefully make a little bit of money from the Amazon affiliate links, which you'll find in the description, because if you choose to make a purchase when going through one of those links, I will make a small commission from it, and any commission helps to continue this channel and make videos much like this. So let's get on with it. Let's have a look at the GSP500. So I'm going to talk about a few different areas. I'll show you the frame and talk a bit about the build quality. I'll also obviously talk about the sound quality of this headset, but also quite importantly, the microphone quality as well. So let's take a look at that industrial design, which my guess would not be to everybody's taste. I quite like it, but I don't think it's winning any awards for me. And when you put it on, I have to admit, it's pretty ugly, isn't it? But that's not a concern for me. I'm not a Twitch streamer. I don't need to look good wearing this thing. I can't see it when it's on my head. And so looks do not matter to me in the slightest. But they might do to you. But again, it's just going to come down to taste, isn't it? But build quality is very good, at least compared to other headsets that I've used, and I'll talk about some of those in a minute. But one thing that's quite unique to this and the similar GSP600 is that the ear cups can swivel here on these metallic arms. I mean, that's something that I haven't seen before, but the more points of articulation you've got, I guess, the more likely it is that you're going to find a good fit. And also at the top, it has an a slider to adjust the grip force, I guess. So you know, bigger heads need less grip, smaller heads like mine need quite a lot to keep them in place. Also, which is pretty much standard with every headset I've seen, there are sliders here to adjust the length of the arms. So I think for the price point, which is not cheap, at £158 they cost me. I've seen them as cheap as 155, but yeah, these are not low cost headsets. In fact, a lot of stuff from Sennheiser, even their cheaper headsets like the GSP500, which I've previously owned, that starts at about £80, I think is the cheapest price I've seen for that. But in comparison to that headset, this has a much sturdier build. And one of the unfortunately happened to me is I got a bit heavy-handed with my GSP500, kind of yanked them and put them on the side and made a tiny little crack in the plastic here, which is not quite as hardy as what we've got here. And that little crack soon spread across the frame, and well, there was no clamping force left in the headset. Everything else worked perfectly well, but just couldn't get a comfortable fit with that headset. And so that headset, the GSP500, I just chucked in the bin in Sharjah and left it there. And that's not the only headset I've had that kind of accident with. The next headset I got was the HyperX Revolver S, and coming back to the UK, I packed it in my suitcase and didn't do a very good job of packing my suitcase because one of the ear cups got bent and it's got quite a thin attachment to the arm and cracked, and it worked, but I couldn't get a good fit then because, again, I just had an ear cup sitting here and a frame floating around. And to be honest, even when that headset was in perfect working condition, it didn't fit me well, and the microphone sound quality wasn't that great. But this headset, I've got to say, I'm very happy with it. The build quality is spot on, even if the looks are kind of ugly. Now, sound quality, how does it stack up against other things that I've listened to? Well, incredibly favorably. As I said, the GSP500, the HyperX Revolver S. Also, another point of comparison would be my PlayStation Platinum headset, which I've used a bit on the PC as well. And I've got a pair of Bose Ultra Sport in-ear headphones, and compared to all of those, unsurprisingly, considering it's the most expensive, although not much more expensive than this, the sound quality is superior. Now, with any product that you purchase, as you increase in price, there is a law of diminishing returns, and so at £158 compared to a headset that's £58, it's not going to be 3 times as good. But what you're looking for here, at least what I was looking for when making a purchase, was to find a headset that would give me a bit of an advantage in games, and this definitely does, because not only, even though it's stereo, picking out the positioning of where enemies are on the battlefield is second to none, or at least compared to the other headsets I've tried, they can't quite match this for that audio clarity. And I've noticed when switching between them, although these are good, they have a very nice sound. In fact, all of the headsets I've mentioned have a good quality sound. There's just something about these that there's more detail. The important details that you can pick out, footsteps, enemies reloading their guns or patching themselves up when they're wounded in games like Apex Legends, you can just pick them out further away and point them out within the play space with more accuracy, and it might only give you half a second advantage, but sometimes that is all that you need to be able to take out an enemy. And it can mean the difference between winning and losing. So only you can decide whether 150 odd pounds, or I guess it would be about $200 as they probably cost in the States, or maybe they only cost $150. To be honest, I haven't checked, but Amazon.com or one of the other big retailers will definitely have these in stock. But at this price point, they are superior, but that's as you would expect. But yes, the point I was making was only you can truly know whether that amount of money is worth it to you. For me, I see these as a long-term investment. Hopefully, although I am treating these with kid gloves, they are still a robust headset, and I expect them to last for a long time, 5 years. And if they do, which they should, I've heard plenty of reports of other people on YouTube with not necessarily this model because it hasn't been out for very long, but older Sennheiser headsets who've been using them for 5 years and have had no problems with them whatsoever. So if that is the case and I'm still using these in 5 years' time, that's about £30 a year for really nice quality audio, and to me that's not too much of a price to pay. So sound quality, really nice. I can't fault them there. I'm really happy with that. But one thing I can actually show you or allow you to listen to is the microphone quality. So let's plug them in. Actually, before we do, just a little point about the connection. As you can see, the cable can be disconnected. It doesn't have a standard 3.5mm jack. It's some proprietary connection here, but it is nice to know that the cable can be disconnected and can be replaced if, for example, your cat chews through them. And mine do have, well, one in particular has a habit of nibbling at cables. But well, the connector I've got on here is the shorter cable that's used, I guess, for PlayStation or Xbox to plug into your controller. And I'll explain why in just a second. But the standard PC cable, which comes with a connector for the headphones and a separate one for the microphone, so you can plug into your sound card, that comes with a very long cable. Now, as you can see behind me, I've got my computer here and the actual system is on the floor, and there's plenty of cable for this to go down the back of the desk, plug into the PC and still give me enough slack to be able to move around while gaming. But I don't use that, primarily because the sound card on the motherboard I've got, which is not a particularly cheap one, it's a Z170 Z170 Deluxe from Asus, just has a really hissy, bad sound card. And I've tried it with numerous headsets, so it's not the cable or the headset, but it just doesn't sound good. But I'm in luck because I did have, as I mentioned earlier, the HyperX Revolver S, which comes with a DAC. It has a USB external sound card, if you like. I don't use it for the 7.1 surround, it's just a pass-through, but it does have a nice clean sound to it, and so this short cable works really well with that, having it plugged in at my desk. In fact, I'm going to plug it in now so I can allow you to hear this, and I'll also give you a bit of a listen to, as a comparison, the microphone that comes in this headset. So let's take a listen. Okay, so yes, I know this headset doesn't look very good, but we're here to listen to the microphone. And nice thing about the mic, and then as you bring it down, it deactivates the mute and you can hear the microphone. I'm impressed with the quality of it. Friends of mine that I play with are quite happy with the sound quality of this microphone. In fact, that's one of the main reasons for wanting to get a good quality headset, well, with a good quality microphone, is so it doesn't unnecessarily annoy the people that I'm playing with. I'm not saying what I say to them doesn't annoy them, but at least the sound quality won't. Whereas, let's have a listen to this one as a comparison. So obviously something went wrong there, because it's now 2 days later, and as I was editing the video, I found out that the sound that I recorded from the microphone, well, there was no sound at all. It didn't pick it up. I'm not quite sure what happened, but I think I accidentally knocked the cable going into the headset and it just didn't pick up the sound. So I then tried to dub the sound, like basically speaking the same words over the video. Yeah, that didn't really work very well. So, well, I'm just gonna have to record this part again, because I think, you know, you'd probably like to hear a bit of a comparison to the other headset that I've been talking about here. So, this is it, the Sony Platinum headset. And what I've done is I've boosted the level of this microphone so the volume is about the same as the Sennheiser, because I thought it's a bit of an unfair comparison otherwise, because this microphone is a fair bit quieter than that one. So obviously in game you can rectify that problem by adjusting the microphone input levels in the games that you're playing, or within Windows boosting the gain on the microphone. And as you can hear, it's not terrible. You can definitely hear what I'm saying quite clearly. One of the problems with it is in the fact that it's omnidirectional and you pick up quite a lot of sound from my orb weaver over here or my keyboard. Yeah, it's that sort of clacky noise that I'm not saying that the Sennheiser doesn't pick up that sound, because it does. It just picks up a little bit less than this headset. So the sound quality on this one is good. It's a bit bassier than that due to the nature of it being a closed back design. The microphone's not quite as good. And you might think, well, why buy that when you've got this? Well, actually, when I ordered that, I wasn't sure whether I still had this headset. It was in a storage unit and I thought maybe I'd left it in the UAE, kind of lost it in the move, but I hadn't. So what I think I'm going to do to offset the cost of the Sennheiser is I'm going to be selling this, and I'm sure I could get £50 for this selling it on eBay. So I think that's what I'll do. I don't really need two headsets because the Sennheiser works perfectly well with the PlayStation. The only difference being that this is wireless and you've got the 7.1 surround sound or 3D surround features for it, which is quite nice, but I think I can live without it. So let's go back to the rest of the original video. So yeah, it's a lot of money. Even, you know, I'm not saying this is cheap and this is the kind of thing that I can buy and throw around and not care about it, because it's not. If I break this, I'm going to be really upset, and my wife will be really angry because, to be honest, I couldn't really afford this. This is money that she allowed me to take out of our joint money and spend, because she's a good woman and she knows how much I love my gaming. So hopefully that's given you enough information to know whether you would be in the market for a GSP500. And as I said earlier, if you are, please consider using the Amazon affiliate links, because a little bit of money can definitely help me to continue making videos. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, you thought it was rubbish, please give me a thumbs down. But also, I'd love to know why you didn't like it and what I can do better, because I'm always striving to make these videos as good as I possibly can. So thanks very much for watching. From my games room to wherever you are, this is Psiman signing off. Bye-bye.